grab this really quick.
Okay. And can you tell if we're live on our Boxcaster? We should be going live. It's saying getting ready. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Josh. And I'll follow up with you and let you know how things go. Okay. All right. Thanks. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, should we stay on audio on the phone?
Yes, we're gonna. Okay, yes. So we are about to go live. And for some reason, if I have to switch you over, I will do so, but we should be going live in 3D any moment. Yes. And so good day. Thank you for live. We are live. And for some reason, if I have to switch you over, I will do so, but we should be going live in 3D any moment. Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D. And good day, thank you for the Daily Divine Direction broadcast for all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time. I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FujiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, good day, divorce, thank you for tuning in, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships, whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind. God is concerned about that which concerns you. And so we are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we are having a little difficulties. We are determined to get this done. With us today, as always, our monthly contributor, Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist. And Becca, I may have to bring you on to our internal mic here because, as you can see, we're having a little difficulty with our sound. So if you'll just bear with me for one moment, I'm going to see if I can get you connected so that everyone can at least hear you. I know they can see you, so that is a good thing. If you'll say hello to all of our listeners and viewers, Becca, they are waiting for you and delighted to have you with us today.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes. So I have you on our internal system because we're having a little difficulty with our Zoom broadcast, but I am thankful. Becca, I will tell you that everyone has been looking forward to seeing you. We have been trying to keep everything moving forward. So people were asking, and of course I had announced that you would be with us today because you were so gracious to switch over from last Thursday until this Thursday. But for some reason, I'm not sure that everyone can hear me, but at least they can hear you. So Becca, I'm going to let you take it away.
All right, let's do it. So I'm so glad that even though, we had some technical difficulties last Thursday, we were able to move it forward to this Thursday because I've got some really good stuff here for you guys this month. So I wanted to talk about, a topic that is really important because only 1 in 10 Americans are meeting the recommended intake for fruits and vegetables. I know it's a new year, it's time for resolution, setting goals for yourself for the coming year. A lot of those tend to be health goals. And this time last year, we talked about how to set SMART goals. So goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and have a time frame associated with them. So we covered that last year. If anybody has questions, I'd be happy to answer those when we get to the Q&A part. But with such a basic part of nutrition being not met by so many people in our country, I wanted to take the time to talk about this and, how fruits and vegetables can benefit our diets, can benefit our health, and how to implement them in ways that are going to be more meaningful than just getting your green veggies at dinner at night. So first of all, fruits and veggies, they are whole foods, they are plants, so they are part of a plant-based diet, and they have a ton of health benefits. So they're a great source of fiber. They're rich in micronutrients like potassium, which is important to control your blood pressure, vitamins A and C, which help promote wellness and keeping your immune system boosted. They contain folate, which is production. That's especially important in pregnant women. They also contain iron, which is responsible for bringing all of the nutrients that our body needs to the different cells and organ systems in our body so that our bodies can function properly. And lastly, they are rich in, well, not lastly, but last of my points for today is that they're rich in polyphenols. So I'm not sure if everyone has heard what polyphenols are before. You may have heard of things like beta-carotene, lycopene, chlorophyll. Sometimes these words are put out there as, good things to be eating, or I know chlorophyll supplementation became popular in the last couple of years. But really what it comes down to is that these different compounds in fruits and vegetables, they help protect our bodies against different types of cancer, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, dementia, and other forms of dementia. And they also help promote and restore our gut health, which has been linked to all of these conditions and many, many other things as well. So things like headaches, allergies, skin issues, that all goes back to the gut. We want to make sure that we're feeding our guts properly and feeding our bodies properly so that they can do all the things that we need them to do every day. So I mentioned before, we want to do better than just getting our green vegetables at dinner. So that was always kind of historically the thought. You need to have a green vegetable with your dinner in order to make it a balanced meal. But the truth is there's actually so many different colors. There's a whole rainbow of colors in fruits and vegetables. So we do have our greens, but we also have your white vegetables, yellow, orange, red, pink, purple, and blue. And all of these different colors represent different polyphenols that play different functions in our body. So for instance, it helps lower the risk of type 2 diabetes, all causes of death, cardiovascular disease mortality, breast cancer, and gastric cancer mortality is decreased from this compound, or at least studies have shown there's an association. And that's going to be found in your oranges and your yellow plants, as well as things like alpha-carotene, lutein, zeaxanthin, and some of these are funky words, so even a dietitian can screw them up. Carotenoids, lycopene, those are going to be more of your red vegetables. So there's a whole bunch of these different compounds, but the point is you have to eat all the different colors in order to get the different benefits. So if you just stick to your green vegetables, your intake of chlorophyll is going to be really great, but you might be missing out on anthocyanins or flavonols, some of these other polyphenols that all play really, really important roles in our body and promoting health and wellness for us. So just to give a few examples of, maybe different colored vegetables you might have thought of off the top of your head. So, of course, tomatoes, carrots, watermelon, cantaloupe, pumpkin, mango, corn. Those are going to be a lot of your orangey, red, yellow vegetables. But then we have things like grapes, eggplant, blueberries, plums, purple cabbage. Those are going to be more of your purple blues. Then of course, green's easy. I think we can all list out a bunch of different green vegetables, but you know, think broccoli, asparagus, kiwi, for instance, even honeydew. And then your white veggies would be more like cauliflower, mushrooms, garlic, onions, things like that. So we want to make sure we're getting a variety of these different colors, at least on a daily basis, but ideally multiple times a day. And I heard a colleague of mine told me about that I thought was really great, and it's called the 1-2-3 approach to eating fruits and vegetables. And the goal is to be able to try and get 6 servings a day of different fruits and vegetables in. So the 1-2-3 essentially breaks it up. We want to get 1 with breakfast, 2 with lunch, and 3 with dinner and snacks. And ideally, they would all be different colors or different types. So we wouldn't want to just do spinach with breakfast, 2 servings of spinach with lunch, 3 servings with spinach with dinner. We would want to do a banana at breakfast, maybe spinach and carrots at lunch, onions, mushrooms, and broccoli at dinner, for example, just to get lots of different colors in there. So, you know, I do have some ideas for how to incorporate these, but keep in mind, if you're only eating 1 serving a day of vegetables, it may not be realistic for you to jump to 6 servings. So we just want to do better than what we're doing right now. If you're only doing 1 serving a day, let's increase that to 2 servings a day and either add a second serving at the meal that you're eating vegetables at, or maybe add a serving in a totally different meal. So if you choose to tackle breakfast, maybe you do a breakfast smoothie that has fresh or frozen fruit. You could add a handful of spinach or kale to it, along with maybe some berries or some other types of fruit. You could do mixed berries in pancakes, muffins, waffles. You could put them on top of your cereal, your oatmeal, or your yogurt, and it doesn't have to be just berries. It could be peaches, apples, bananas, whatever you like. In terms of veggies, if you are a fan of eggs, you could do an omelet with onions, peppers, spinach, breakfast potatoes. That's still a vegetable. You know, it's one of those white vegetables that we need to get in. Or maybe if you're, you know, in a rush, just grab a piece of hand fruit on the go, a banana, an apple, an orange, whatever it may be. Now, at lunchtime, some suggestions to get extras in would be having a sandwich or a wrap, maybe throw some extra veggies on there, whether it be some lettuce, spinach, maybe some onion, tomato slice, whatever it may be. If you like soups, you can make homemade soups that have lots of veggies in there. One thing I noticed is that a lot of soup recipes call for maybe 2 carrots and 2 celery stalks, but I always add way more vegetables than they recommend, just because I feel like you can never have enough of those types of things. You could do a salad that obviously you're going to have lettuce of some sort of your base and then add lots of different things to there. You can do leftovers from dinner and maybe heat up some frozen veggies to go with it for some extra. And then in terms of dinner, you know, stir fries are great. You can add in a lot of different stuff there. When the weather's warmer, or even if you grill all year round, you could do different grilled vegetables. And also grilled fruits can be really good too. Grilled pineapple, grilled peaches, things like that. Adding, you know, vegetables that blend easily into dishes. So if you have a pasta sauce, you know, add roasted red peppers to that, or add different veggies to casseroles and soups like onion, peas, beans, tomatoes, spinach, peppers, things like that. And then in terms of your snacks, raw veggies with hummus, raw veggies with guacamole, maybe a dressing of some sort, that's always great. Apples and peanut butter, that's always one of my go-tos. It's super easy and delicious. And then they even have some like veggie chips and like veggie snacks out there. They make chickpea puffs, so they're like cheese curls, but they're made from chickpeas. So you're getting the fiber and some of the benefits from that. Then they also make kale chips, banana chips, all different types of things. So, you know, just make an effort to do more than what you're currently doing, because ultimately, if we can move more towards whole plant-based foods in our diet and less foods, feel better, and you're going to be healthier and hopefully live a longer life because of it. So yeah, that's my bit on polyphenols from fruits and vegetables.
So I want to say, I don't know if anyone else can hear me because for some reason we're having some technical difficulty. Becca, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, and I think you're probably hearing me on the call, but for those who may not be hearing me, I'm going to turn things over to Becca, but I just want to remind everyone that today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast, as always, is brought to you by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. And if you cannot hear me, you should know this routine by now. This is Earth's finest water. It starts as a tropical rainfall, which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. So I'm going to make certain that Becca takes over the broadcast today, and I'll just kind of be able to talk to Becca behind the scenes in case the rest of you are not hearing me, because she and I are connected so that she can hear me. Shake your head, Becca, if that's okay. Yes, so Becca's going to take over the broadcast. But I will tell you this. One of our listeners and viewers asked about a pescatarian diet. And they had, yes, so we were having a conversation, an exchange about that. Can you explain the pescatarian diet? I know we talked about a Mediterranean diet, but can you explain the difference between the two to our listeners and viewers so that, and then I'm going to let Becca run with the broadcast. And if I have to jump in for a sponsor, I will, but I don't know if everyone can hear me, so it might be kind of pointless today. But as you can see, my jacket is across the room from me on another chair because Becca and I have been working on this with Boxcast, trying to get everything connected before we went live today. So Becca, I'm going to let you take over if you will.
Sure thing. So there's a lot of different names out there for different diets, and a lot of them do overlap to some degree. A pescatarian diet is essentially somebody who eats fish and seafood, but they may not eat chicken, other forms of poultry, pork, red meat, or they may. So it just kind of depends from person to person, but traditionally a pescatarian diet is somebody who does consume seafood products, but they, aside from that, is a pretty plant-based diet. So they may have eggs, they may not, they may, they may not be strictly vegan or anything like that. A strict vegan is somebody who doesn't eat anything that it comes from an animal or even insects. So honey, for instance, is made by bees, but a vegan wouldn't consume honey. The Mediterranean diet is, a version of like a plant-based pescatarian diet because it does have a lot of those plant-based proteins in it, like beans, seeds, nuts. But there might also be eggs in that. Definitely fish is a part of the Mediterranean diet. And then there's small amounts of poultry, but very, very limited red meat.
So do you find any deficiencies in a pescatarian diet whatsoever, or can you kind of expound on that also for our listeners and viewers?
Great question. I love that. Yes. So not necessarily specifically with a pescatarian diet, but more so with vegetarian, vegan diets, it is very common to see some deficiencies, especially iron deficiency. And iron is such an important nutrient for everybody, but it is really important, especially for pregnant women who have developed, they're developing another life inside of them. Yes. So they really need iron, but really everybody does, because as I mentioned before, it's responsible for all those different nutrients that our body needs to all the different cells in our bodies, all the different organs and organ systems so that they can work properly. So with that, there are plant-based sources of iron, but they're not quite as digestible as the animal-based sources of iron. So like red meat is a really great source of iron. Pork is a great source of iron. And those are very digestible. For the plant-based versions, it's called non-heme iron. And if you consume it with vitamin C, it actually enhances the absorbability of it. So it makes it easier for your body to digest and utilize the iron from the plant-based sources. So a great example would be spinach, which is a dark green leafy vegetable, a good source of iron, along with tomatoes, which are a good source of vitamin C. So that combination is going to help your body be able to better use that iron so you aren't deficient.
So I feel like the Wizard of the Wizard of Oz today, because you may not hear me, but I'm able to talk into Becca's ear with this. But I want to say, Becca, would you share with all of our listeners and viewers, I was in having this exchange about the pescatarian diet, one of the things I reminded the listener and viewers that I learned from you is that you don't have to be any one thing every day. You can break it up throughout the week. And so if you would kind of share with our listeners and viewers how you taught me to do things a little differently, with one day a week doing one thing, another day a week doing other things, but I'm going to let you take over once again.
Sure, yeah. So there's a lot of different diets out there. I find the best one, and this is just my personal opinion, but I personally really love what's called the flexitarian diet. So the flexitarian diet is animal products, but you also eat a lot of plant-based food. So it's kind of a happy medium between being a vegetarian or vegan and being a meat lover. So you still incorporate those foods, but there's also a balance between lots of plants and then some animal products too. And it's great just because, of course, those plant foods are going to really help reduce your risk of a lot of chronic diseases, but there's also some really important nutrients that are needed in those animal products that help us, be healthy, of course. So if you are currently eating meat every day for 3 meals a day, maybe pick one meal a week, Meatless Monday, for instance. If you're doing that and it's working well, maybe do it 2 days a week, or maybe say, oh, I'm going to make my lunches plant-based and then I'm going to have meat with dinner. Do whatever works for you. But there's always going to be a benefit to having more plants in your diet. So, whether it's 1 day a week, every day of the week for one meal, whatever it looks like for you, just try and do a little bit more than you're currently doing.
So I like what you said, Becca, when you said you can do what works for you, but the key is to do better. So one of the reasons that Becca is with us every first Thursday of the month, I know it's the second Thursday of the month this month, but one of the reasons she's with us is because we want everyone to be whole in their body, mind, and spirit. And I don't know that everyone can hear me, so I'm going to let Becca take over once again. But before we do, I just want to say, Becca, if you would share with our listeners and viewers also, as we're in this new year, I know you said very specifically there were some things that you wanted to do to go forward in the new year, and that's the reason we have you with us now. We can see you visually. We're going to be inviting others to also join in on the Zoom once we get this defined. Would you just share with our listeners and viewers what you're going to take us through as the year goes on?
Yeah, so we are, going to just continue to try and make ourselves better. And I mentioned those SMART goals earlier. So this is the perfect time, it's new year. It's the perfect time to reset, better yourself going forward. So set goals that are SMART, very specific. So not just, I want to be healthier in 2023. We want to decide, what specifically do you want to be healthier? Do you want to lower your blood pressure? Do you want to lower your cholesterol levels? Do you want to lose 5 pounds? Do you, whatever it may be. We want to make sure it's something very specific, and it could be multiple things. It doesn't have to be just one. But, another important aspect is realistic. So if 5 goals is not realistic, but 2 is, that's something else we want to keep in mind. The second part of the SMART goals are measurable. So, saying, not even just saying I want to lower my blood pressure is good enough. We want to say I want to lower my blood pressure by 10 points for the diastolic, or the systolic, which is the top, and 5 points for the diastolic. So we want to be specific with that type of thing as well, and make sure that we can actually see, yes, there was a difference from when I had my pressure checked in October of 2022 and February of 2023. The third letter, A, attainable. We don't want to have this crazy goal of losing 100 pounds in a month. It's just not going to happen. And if it does, you should be a little concerned.
You need to see your
So
doctor.
we do want to make sure it's something that can actually be achieved within a time frame. So maybe, you know, lowering your blood pressure by 10 points for systolic, 5 points from the diastolic in 6 months is, you know, an attainable time frame for you. You know, R is the realistic. So again, we want to make sure that it's something that can realistically be done. And then T, timely, like I just mentioned, putting that time frame on it. So, you know, 6 months to lower my systolic and diastolic pressures by 10 and 5 respectively, within 6 months. You know, that's a reasonable, measurable, attainable, you know, it's a good goal to have. So if your blood pressure is great, maybe it's cholesterol levels you want to look at, or maybe it's your A1C, or again, maybe it's just improving your VO2 max if you're an athlete, which is basically the rate at which your body can take in or consume oxygen. I don't know the details of that one, but it's, you know, how efficient you are as an athlete. So it, you know, it could be anything, but pick something that's going to be meaningful and that is truly going to make, you know, improve your health.
So we're going to be doing some great things. Becca, would you announce, just in case everyone can't hear me, would you share with everyone, we're going to be doing a promo with you also this year, where we're going to select someone who's going to come on the air. Would you kind of on the Zoom and share what they're experiencing? Can you just kind of walk them through what that will look like?
Yes, so we are really excited to announce a promo that we're doing this year. So we are going to have one winner, maybe multiple, I'm not sure how many, but you will be invited onto the live stream and you will be able to ask me any question that you want for the duration of this call. So that's a really cool opportunity to ask some great questions that you yourself are wondering about, because if you're wondering, chances are somebody else is wondering too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as always with us, and I'm going to ask Becca to remain for a moment afterwards, or we'll reconnect, because one of the things that I want to say to everyone is that being able to talk with Becca personally, to really get, and so all of you can see it happen real time, we're going to have an opportunity to do that. And so Becca, thank you for sharing that with us, our listeners and viewers. I do have one other question. Can gout be reversed?
Gout, the question was, can gout be reversed, in case anybody couldn't hear that?
Yes, and I know
so
that
gout,
I know that there were other questions, but Becca, please address that one if you will.
Sure. So with gout, I don't know if we can actually reverse it. I'm not sure if that's possible, but I do know it's possible to reduce the incidence, the frequency, and the duration of flares of gout. So gout is something that can be exacerbated, and it's very painful from what I've heard. Processed foods, beer, other forms of alcohol, heavy meat diet, these are all things that can potentially trigger gout. So if you have gout and you're sick and tired of having these terrible flares, you would be a good person to try some more plant-based meals.
Nice, nice. Excellent, excellent. Well, that was one of the questions, was it possible to reverse gout? So I wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to discuss that. And I know Becca's also this year going to be walking us through some fitness and health and wellness. So Becca, can you share a little bit about what's going on? And all of you can go to BeccaTheDietitian.com. You'll announce your website also so that people can come on and they'll be able to see all the insurances that you take, and you can share that also.
Yeah, so this year I am working on becoming a certified personal trainer, because nutrition and fitness are two things that go so well together. It's really hard to achieve all of your health goals with just one. So pairing those two things together, I think, is really important. And I'm really excited to be able to have that expanded knowledge base so that I can talk more about that. I know the metabolic components of exercise, but I want to know more about, you know, the anatomical, you know, aspects of it, helping people be able to exercise in a way so that they can prevent injury too, because that's really, really important. So that's something I'm personally going to be working on. If you want to meet with me one-on-one, you can head to my website, beccathedietitian.com. Dietitian is spelled DIETITIAN. So it's beccathedietitian.com. I accept all major insurances, Aetna, Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and United Healthcare. So head to my website if you have any questions.
And if you did not get that, it is posted on with Becca's lovely face. It's posted on our Facebook, and we will make certain that it's also posted on the Boxcast. So just make sure that you go to beccathedietitian.com. She announced her website. And for all of you, we want to make certain that this year is going to be a spectacular year. We will get this. Becca, please tell them we will get this resolved and make certain that you can hear us both, but maybe you're tired of hearing me today anyway, so that might have been a sign, and Becca took over the